You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. The Winnipeg Pops Orchestra celebrates the season with their Sound of Spring concert this week. Joined by a number of special guests, the program features lively orchestral favorites plus some selections from the beloved Sound of Music score. To hear more about it, Conductor Owen Clark has returned to the Classic 107 studio. Good to see you again, Owen.
Good morning. Great to be here.
And great to have you, and very thrilled that we've welcomed one of those special guests. Michele Wood could be here as well. Hello, Michele. Welcome to Classic 107.
Well, thank you so much. Happy to be here.
So, Michele, I'd like to begin by chatting about you and your involvement in the show, because you've been a regular collaborator with the Winnipeg Pops Orchestra. Can you begin by telling us a little bit about what you enjoy about performing with the WPO?
Well, who wouldn't want to get up in front of a 65-piece orchestra and sing? Hello.
There is something so special about that, isn't there?
Yeah, you're standing there, and all of a sudden you hear the cellos come in with this beautiful, warm entry that you have to match, right? It's fantastic.
Now, I'm curious, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? You've been performing, singing here in the city for years now. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Well, my roots are back in musical theater, so I got to do a lot of work with the Gilbert and Sullivan Society when they were around. I got to play Yum Yum in their opening show, Mikado. And I did work with the Rainbow Stage when Brian Foley was the director. My favorite role was in South Pacific.
Oh, nice.
And Damn Yankees was another show that was great to do. I sing in a band, a local band with Peter Sarmachek. And Owen called me during COVID and said, "Hey, are you still singing?" And at that point, nobody was really singing, right?
Yeah.
And so it was an opportunity to start working on music and get involved with the Winnipeg Pops Orchestra.
Was that the first time you and Owen interacted, or do you remember your first gig together?
Well, I'm going to say it was probably 15 years ago. You're better at dates than me. With Memory Lane Orchestra. And you were drumming in it.
I was,
and
yes.
And I was singing, and that's when I think the first time we met. Yeah.
So Owen, for those listening who haven't heard or seen Michele perform, can you tell us a little bit about her and her stage presence? What draws you to her singing? Because this has just been such a great musical partnership over the years.
Yes, it is a great musical partnership. Michele is one of those singers that involve you with what she is presenting. It's not a stone face standing up there vocalizing. It's someone who connects with the audience, connects with the orchestra, observes exactly what the composer is getting at in that piece of music. She's just an all-around great performer.
Thanks, Owen.
Well, what more could you ask for, right? I mean, it is that sort of bringing a captivating presence and a true artist to the stage, and that's what you want in a collaboration. But Michele, not the only artist who's going to be joining the WPO in this show. Also, the Springfield Theatre Company singers and xylophonist, Nathan Gibbons. Can you tell us more about what they'll be doing?
Yes, the Springfield group is kids aged, I believe, 9 to 14, and they're directed by Betty Usero, who is a violinist in the orchestra. And they're doing select vocal sections in The Sound of Music. And it's wonderful to have these young people there right up at the front of the orchestra having a good time, putting voice to these songs that we normally just play instrumentally.
You mentioned, we're going to get to xylophonist Nathan Gibbons in just a second, but I mean, you mentioned the involvement of getting the kids brought into this production, the younger singers, and that opportunity to not only get up on stage, but also have that unique experience of performing with orchestra that Michele was just talking about earlier. Can you talk more about the importance of a community orchestra like the WPO and music making in the community more broadly?
Yes. There are quite a number of community bands in Winnipeg, not only concert bands, but jazz bands as well. And actually there's 2 orchestras that are community-based orchestras. The Winnipeg Pops, obviously, and the Mennonite Community Orchestra. However, the difference is our season is weekly and theirs is by concert. So we rehearse with them for about 7 weeks, I think, and then do the concert. Whereas we rehearse every week. We usually do 1 or 2 concerts at Christmas, and this spring we're doing 4. The purpose of all this is the engagement of not only the people in the orchestra and all the community bands that play. But the engagement of the audience and the importance of providing a musical experience for them that they may not get anywhere else. Music in the world has changed so drastically over the last, 10 years roughly. So this is a chance to present music of an older generation, great music, all that stuff. The other point is the economic impact of these orchestras and bands on society. These orchestras and bands, and there's probably 800 to 1,000 people involved in groups in Winnipeg. Most of them are older, at the end of their careers, and they have money to spend. And they go and buy instruments, they buy supplies, they buy reeds and valve oil, they pay for lessons, they pay for repairs. They are in a position to say, I'm going to ditch this flute, for example, that I've been playing for 30 years, and I'm going to spend thousands of dollars on a brand new instrument. So this group of people has a huge economic impact on our society. And it's great, just wonderful to be involved with all these people.
Like you say, I mean, music just has so many benefits, doesn't it? And I mean, it is so far-reaching, and I mean, it's just a wonderful opportunity for people to, find that common ground and come together and make music. But then there's these further impacts that it has within the broader community. And so, yeah, I mean, WPO just does such a great job engaging that community and also presenting some really great tunes. I was looking at the list. The Sound of Music, and we'll get to that in just a bit, but also the St. Louis Blues, Cacciatorian Sabre Dance, which is just so infectious and lively. A Duke Ellington medley. Can we go back to xylophonist Nathan Gibbons? Because
Sure.
You're a percussionist. Can you tell us about how he's going to be involved? It's got to be special to feature a little bit of percussion in this show for you.
Yes, it is. Sabre Dance is a solo that I played many, many years ago, and Nathan Gibbons was recommended to me by the percussion teacher at CMU, Brendan Thompson, and he said, this guy's really good. He's totally engaged in what he's doing. So we got the arrangement and brought him in, and he actually did one rehearsal with us and then a concert. So he's very confident in what he does, and he presents himself well. He played the music well. You can't ask for anything more.
No, you certainly can't. Michele, what about you? What are you going to be singing? Do you get to do your best Julie Andrews Spinning on the Hillside impression?
No, I'm leaving that for the kids.
All right, nice.
I'll be doing Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah.
Wonderful.
St. Louis Blues, and then a song that Owen wrote, River Park Waltz.
Tell us more about that one.
Well, I was kind of surprised when you gave it to me because I didn't really, you just get the lyric sheet.
Yeah.
And then when we rehearsed it and you brought in all the country elements to it, it became something new to me. And you really should get Owen to tell you about this song because he can't stop crying when he talks about it.
Well, go ahead, Owen. Try your best to tell us a little bit more about River Park Waltz.
Well, when I was doing the research for Musical Ghosts, I talked with an elderly lady, and she was just talking about music in Winnipeg, specifically during the 30s and 40s. And she was married to a soldier, and the night before he was shipped overseas, they went dancing at River Park. And he went away and never returned, and now she never married, and now she spends her time dancing around her kitchen with his picture. So that was the impetus to write this song and create lyrics that reflected that kind of lifestyle for this lady. It really hit home for me.
Oh, it certainly does. Michele, what about you? What goes through your mind when you're performing this tune and kind of working through it?
Well, I think the joy for me of getting that piece was knowing that Owen wrote it, and it was part of the whole history of music and history of Winnipeg, right? And how music has influenced people's lives and the joy that they have. Like, think about this woman and the old days of dance halls, which I haven't gotten to experience.
Yeah.
So it sort of took me back to that time where you do celebrate life with music and dance, more so than we get to do now, I find.
But the Winnipeg Pops Orchestra is giving everybody the opportunity to do exactly that. Why not see them in the Sound of Spring? That's this Thursday, May 16th, 7 p.m. at the Lutheran Church of the Cross. That's at 560 Arlington Street. More details at winnipegpops.com. You can get tickets there. We've also got links at classic107.com under the events tab. Michele, Owen, thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you.